And the hour of 6 o'clock being reached, I now call the Administration and Public Works Committee of the City Council of Evanston to order. And there is a quorum as present. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any changes to the minutes? Okay, all in favor say aye of approving the minutes. So items 3, or section 3 items for consideration. Motion to approve items A1 and A2. We could, sure, I just someone want to approve them to move so we can discuss them. Yeah.
I would move approval.
Second.
Okay. So this is the City of Evanston payroll through January 10th, 2016 in the amount of $2,727,586.14. And then the fiscal year 2015 bills and 2016 bills through January 26, 2016 in the amount of $1,420,590.37. $2,295,645.63.
Second. Can we take a moment just to quickly review the bills list?
Sure.
Before we,
There's an amendment.
okay.
Is an amendment listed?
Yes, there is an amendment, so.
Okay. Can I have a motion to amend it?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Just give me one quick second.
Okay.
I'm good.
Second it? Alderman Braithwaite?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
second.
any questions or discussion on the bills or payroll?
You good? Okay.
Mr. City Manager?
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. As noted, the amendment was just that we had part of the library bill included in the bills list, and those are completely separate now. So it's just a reduction of $1,700 approximately.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Accept the motion for item A31. We just go in order. Alderman Braithwaite?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to move item 3.1, approval of a sole source purchase for 30 TASER units from TASAR International in the dollar amount of $60,072.65, and this is coming from the Narcotics Seizures Reserve Fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
I just have a quick question.
Okay. With leave?
Grant, yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. James Pickett, Deputy Chief, Support Services.
DC, thank you. Just so the question that I have for those that are looking at this and we'll hear about it later is, so we're purchasing additional tasers for our police force.
Correct.
So we see the same movement in the city of Chicago. I mean, they're doing it, to provide another tool for officers to deal with situations, and I'm just wondering, what's the thinking of the Evanston Police Department?
That's exactly right, Mr. Alderman. Just to give the officers another tool, just in case a situation arises. Currently, we probably have about half of the department that's trained, because prior to the actual change, it was voluntary. You didn't have to carry a taser. But the thinking of the chief, he wants everybody who works the field to be trained and to carry a taser. Like I said, just an additional tool, just in case that situation arises.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
I just had a comment.
Okay.
Alderman Holmes?
Also, if I remember correctly in the reading, this will allow now to make sure that there's enough tasers to cover every officer on every shift. Is that correct?
Correct. Currently, we have 19, and and like I said, it wasn't mandatory for everybody to have a taser. So it's working out now, but now that everybody who works the field, and that includes our narcotics units, tactical units, not just the patrol units.
Right. That's what I thought.
Alderman Braithwaite?
Thank you. And I also saw somewhere in the specs it said HD camera, and I wasn't sure. I didn't see a picture of the taser in the packet, so I wasn't sure if that's a camera to.
Yeah, that's a
video.
camera that is right on the taser so that we can review it. So you can actually see exactly what happened prior to the tasing and during the tasing.
Okay. And we're
other
going to get that
questions?
before we get the body cameras, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Alderman Rainey?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's very interesting that we have a balance of $253,000.
That was my next question.
$660 in our narcotic seizure fund.
Yeah.
It's a real source of income.
That was my follow-up question to Marty.
Huh?
I had a follow-up question.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's And we put that money to good use. I know.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And that was just going to be my quick question to Marty, just what type of items are we able to purchase? And then what determines dollars seized that go back to the residents and dollars seized that go into this fund?
So I'm going to defer to the deputy chief on what we, because I don't have the entire list. It all has to be, so it can be a part of the investigation process. That's the overall umbrella, but it must be spent on specifically on law enforcement processes.
Correct.
Or equipment itself, and we can follow up with a written response to.
So I'll make sure that gets to you.
Thank you.
And to follow up, the other part of the question was more about what happens when we have a resident X who had assets confiscated and then later on is acquitted. However, it does not move forward. How do we do have distributions back to those individuals? And so the question, how do we do that? Because it really is going to be based on the decision of either the court or the state's attorney saying
Correct.
we're not moving forward, or even our own internal investigation. All of those assets would be properly categorized and safe kept as any that end up being eventually kept. And there's a process for that when we're working with sister agencies, as far as whether it's the state or is it county,
County, or
whoever
correct.
we would be working with, where the assets are custodied properly. We show a very clear trail of possession for all of those, and then they are distributed back.
Correct.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Holmes?
Alderman Breathwaite, I was just thinking, if these funds are available for equipment, that as a follow-up to the conversation that we had with neighbors when we were on the walk on Saturday
Oh, right.
about cameras, then maybe
Right.
this would be a reference that you want to make
Right.
for that, since there is a source of funds that
You're-
might be available for that.
You were so smart. Right.
Yeah, I know.
Modest,
To
too.
everyone watching. So this is a follow-up to our last AMPW meeting where we had a lengthy discussion about fly dumping. And one of the questions that I asked, and
Well, I'm particularly talking about the drug deal.
right, but I think that the cameras serve the same purpose as we have situations that are going on in our neighborhoods where we don't have the police manpower to sit there and observe. And is there technology out there, and I'm looking to our IT as well as our
Right.
police department, that would allow for portable wireless cameras to be set up on a city pole to observe a place, whether it was because of narcotic sales, drug houses, that for whatever reason the resident doesn't want to necessarily let the police in, but we all have our hot spots in
Right,
our wards
exactly.
that we get constant complaints on. For example, over behind the Burger King,
Burger King is one.
where
That's
we've
what
had a
I
number of complaints. Can we put a camera there as a deterrent and also to monitor that situation?
I mean, yeah, we definitely could. I would have to refer to our in-house IT
Okay.
expert, but we could definitely do that.
Okay, well, maybe we can use this fund as a source to pay for those cameras then.
Yes, sir.
Sir?
I was just going to follow up, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. We did just go, the Illinois City Managers Association and the Illinois Chiefs of Police held a seminar on Thursday that I attended about cameras and how things are going to move forward over the next year. There are a whole host of issues to be handled with the new Public Act that has been passed. And one of the big suggestions was to look at, if you're going to go down the path of body cameras, to do pilot, and and that can be by a small group, a section of town. You can pick how you would like to have a small rollout, but it allows you to help your IT department gauge what will be the total costs, and also for officers to get familiar with all of the necessary procedures. There's a whole host
There's a whole host, correct.
Not a whole host, but one big
it's a
general
lot.
order behind it that governs the utilization of
Correct.
any of these cameras as we go forward.
Any further discussion?
Is that taken as a referral? I'm good? I'm good? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Alderman Rainey, I'll accept a motion for item A32.
A32 is approval of tennis instruction contract renewal with E-Town Tennis Company, Tennis Inc. Funding is budgeted out of revenues that come from program participation. There are no other expenses. Move approval.
Any discussion or questions? Alderman Braithwaite?
We don't need to do it now, Bob, but if we have a list of instructors, I'm just curious to know where the instructors are coming from. Thank you.
Being no further questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Alderman Holmes, item A33.
Yes, sir. A3.3, approval of the 2016 CIP sewer rehabilitation contract with Instituform Technologies in the amount of $192,026.60.
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Alderman Braithwaite, item A34.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Approval of the Acela PAL maintenance support contract renewal.
Is there a second? Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Item A35, Alderman Rainey.
Approval of auditing services for a 4-year contract with Sikich LLP. This is in the amount of $348,287 for the entire term. First year will be $83,251, and our staff is recommending we approve up to $10,000 for the CAFRA. I move approval. It's from the general fund.
Second.
Okay, and with leave of the body, Mr. Acting City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one note on the $10,000. We would have been asking that for regardless of who. We have had changes in accounting, and we would like to explore this. The accounting department has historically done this, but the amount of new statements and the work continues to climb as far as the reporting requirements. So it is just another way to make sure we do it very well and keep our bond rating where we want it to be.
Alderman Rainey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I could have looked this up, but I didn't quite have time. Can you tell us, Marty, what other communities this company audits?
I did not bring the report with me. I can have that by the council meeting. Sikich is the largest in the state of Illinois. They have more than 40 municipalities, but the critical one is that they do Joliet, I'm not sure if it's Elgin, but they have 3 communities of our size, which was critical and is noted in the staff report. We do think that the low bid was capable, but in the event of any change in circumstance, Sikich has a huge bench strength, and we will benefit from them all year long. So they work with towns our size on a routine basis. And this, I believe, is less than our current fee for this year. So the $83,000, it took a ratchet down, and it'll go back up, but very competitive. We had 8 responses, so very competitive.
I thought it was interesting that our current firm got low ratings on a couple of the criteria, and that worries me. They've been doing our audit.
We are very happy with our current firm.
But
We are not allowed to use them again, per council policy. We asked 4 years ago for an extension, and the council graciously offered that. So, but we were not unhappy with their services. I think in comparison to the Sikich group, they can offer more. We certainly would not. We've had a very good relationship. I think what the council will benefit from with the change is they will be tough on staff. I do not anticipate a clean audit this coming time frame, meaning we will get some comments, because they will be looking at different things. And that's the whole purpose, is to not only change auditing firms and audit, but to change everything, both the people who work on it and the firms. So Sikich has some different policies, and that will be a great chance for our staff to increase their skills.
thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions?
Do we vote?
Okay. Yeah. And all those in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
A4?
Yes, please.
A4, Resolution 2-R-16, easement arrangements with 1571 Maple Avenue, LLC. Now, they have requested an easement.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Braithwaite, item A5.
Yes. Resolution 10R-16, appointment of Illinois Ravel as the 7th Ward Alderman. Recommend to appoint Eleanor Ravel as the 7th Ward Alderman for the remainder of the term.
Placing yourself there. Yeah. You done already?
City Council. Yeah, she can handle both.
I would second that.
Any discussion? Mr. Acting City Manager, I just want to clear for the public. Ms. Ravel now is out of town currently, is that correct?
Yes.
So we'll be approving her tonight, but then she will actually take her seat at the next meeting?
Actually, she will take her seat in the second meeting in February.
Second meeting in February. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, Ms. Ravel, if you're watching this. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Alderman Rainey, A6. Oh, I'm sorry. So this was, Mr. Acting City Manager, are we holding this, or are we, there's been discussion
So
about?
it needs to be introduced, and so
Just introduce it first. Okay, Alderman Rainey, would you mind doing the honors?
This is Resolution 6R16, approving a settlement with Advanced Disposal. This has to do with the waste transfer station located at 1711 Church Street, where we have been collecting a tipping fee of sorts, in totaling, and which we have set aside, by the way, totaling $1,263,247.90. And we are, it's a settlement, and we're keeping the money.
And would you include your motion items A7 and A8 since they're all related?
Okay, I thought I was told that this was held.
It's going to be held.
It's going to be held, but we want to make sure that we hold all three items.
Also, Mr. Chair, I'd like to move a companion motion, Resolution 7R16, approves the host agreement with Advanced Disposal. This follows the settlement and sets forth the new agreement at 75 cents per ton host fee, beginning on January 1, 2017.
Would you include A8 as well?
And A8.
if I may, Mr. Chair, just procedurally, since A6 and A7 are resolutions, they could be held, and A8 is only for introduction, so that's still the will of the committee, just to point out the difference. If A6 stayed on, it's still not going to be voted upon until the February 8th meeting at the earliest.
So what do you want me-
Well, I'm going to
I'd like
move
to
to hold all three.
I'd like to keep A8 separate because it's an ordinance. It's not a resolution, and I don't want
Well,
to.
then, let's deal with A6 and A7 then with this
Fair enough.
motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh, let's just introduce.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, because we have lots, at least I'm sure I have lots of residents watching in now.
Yep.
Right.
We want to make sure that we will be able to get their input and have a chance for them
Yep.
to come and let us know their feelings. There's been several groups that worked on this for several years.
Years.
And we did not have enough advance notice for them to
Yep.
give their input.
Yep.
So that's why it's got to be held.
Yep.
So
Thank
is
you.
that a motion
I
It
would
is.
motion that, yes.
Yep.
to hold it? Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll absolutely second, and just could add to Alderman Holmes, particularly for the residents at this Church Street Village and the second ward along Church Street where we share borders. I think it is very important that we hold this until we have an opportunity to weigh in when it's appropriate. And I hope that we'll do the same for item A8 as well.
So this will be held, seeing there's a motion by two aldermen to hold it, it'll be held
In the
into the
committee.
next.
I'd like for it to be
Hold
held
in
in committee.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it'll be held into the next meeting, the Administration and Public Works Committee. So Alderman Holmes, item A8.
Ordinance 8-0-16, the repeal of prior waste transfer station fee ordinances and enacting host community fees with advanced disposal.
Is there a second for introduction?
Second.
For discussion purposes, oh, yeah.
Okay, any
Okay.
questions, discussion?
Just, I'll also ask that it be held in committee as well until we have an opportunity to weigh in.
Is there a second to hold it?
Oh, second.
Okay, so that also will be held along with items A6 and A7 until the next meeting of the Administration and Public Works Committee. Mr. City Manager, there's no items for discussion or communications, correct?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry.
Oh, sure.
Could we just make sure that people understand that we're holding it in committee so that people will have a chance to come and give input, because that will be a chance to have that discussion between the residents and the committee. Otherwise, if we held it in council, it would be a different story.
Okay. So the public,
And that it won't be on the council agenda tonight. So
Right.
if you're
Right.
watching, don't come.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
so the next meeting is, the date is going to be
February 8th.
February 8th for the public who's interested in this. Any other communications? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Move adjournment. We'll just adjourn.